Imagine for a moment that the words you choose are more than simple sounds strung together. They are like keys, each one capable of opening doors you may not have realized were even there. Some of these doors lead to surface-level conversations that quickly fade, while others open into spaces of intimacy, trust, and respect that endure for years. When it comes to connecting with a mature woman, someone who has lived, experienced, reflected, and learned through life's many chapters, the kind of language you use becomes even more significant. This is not about quick tricks, shallow flattery, or a string of rehearsed lines that might impress for a moment, but leave no lasting impact. Instead, it is about finding the words and attitudes that genuinely resonate, that show her you are a person of substance and self-respect. Today, I want to share with you the kinds of words and approaches that, when used with honesty and awareness, can spark attraction, build meaningful connection, and create an intimacy that goes beyond the physical into something enduring and real. The most surprising part is that you don't need to become someone else to achieve this. You only need to learn how to use your language and presence more consciously. Over the years, I have had countless conversations with wise women who have shaped my understanding of relationships in ways no book or theory ever could. Their insights, combined with my own experiences and observations, have taught me that maturity in relationships has less to do with age and more to do with awareness. A mature woman values authenticity. She values truth, spoken with respect, boundaries expressed with confidence, and attention offered with sincerity. That is why, in this journey, I am going to guide you through powerful principles, lessons in communication and presence that have the power to transform not just how women see you, but how you see yourself. These are not abstract ideas. They are practical, grounded in real stories and real experiences, and they are insights that anyone can apply to their personal life. So if you've ever found yourself wondering what it really takes to connect with a woman on a deeper level, not just to impress her, but to truly reach her heart and mind, then stay with me. Because what you are about to learn is not just another set of strategies, but a way of building genuine respect and attraction. Before we dive deeper, let me introduce myself. My name is Karen, and if this is your first time here on the channel, I want to welcome you. I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you'll always stay updated on our latest content. Every week, we explore topics that empower you to grow, both in your personal life and in your relationships, and I genuinely want to hear your thoughts as we go along. If the ideas I share today resonate with you, leave a 1 in the comments below. If they don't, leave a 0. This feedback matters more than you know. It helps me understand what content best serves you and allows me to refine each video to bring you the greatest value. And if you feel inspired to share your own stories, I invite you to do so. Our community is built not just on my voice, but on the shared wisdom of everyone listening. Now let's begin with one of the most underestimated yet transformative principles: the power of saying no. At first, this may sound counterintuitive. Many people believe that saying yes to everything is the surest way to keep someone happy. After all, doesn't compliance show care, dedication, and willingness? Yet the truth is very different. When a man knows how to say no, when he understands the strength in setting his boundaries, he radiates a confidence that is deeply attractive to mature women. This is not about being stubborn or confrontational. It's about knowing your values and standing by them with calm certainty. Saying no in the right way demonstrates that you are a man who respects himself, and in turn, this inspires respect from others. Too often, men fall into the trap of trying to please everyone, thinking that self-sacrifice will buy affection or approval. But what actually happens is the opposite. Constant agreement begins to feel hollow, and the spark of respect and attraction slowly fades. Let me share with you the story of Andres, a man I knew who spent years trying to win over every woman he dated by being endlessly agreeable. His reasoning was simple. If he always said yes, then the women would feel cared for, valued, and never have a reason to walk away. Yet time and again, he was met with the same disappointing result. The relationships would start strong, but soon lose their spark. The women began to lose interest, and Andres was left wondering why. It was only after a conversation with Clara, a wise woman in her 50s, that things began to shift. Clara told him plainly, "Andres, women don't want someone who agrees with everything we say. We want someone with his own mind, his own standards, who isn't afraid to say no when it matters." That single piece of advice changed his outlook entirely. The very next time Andres faced a situation where his boundaries were tested, he chose differently. He was dating a wonderful woman, intelligent, confident, full of life, who asked him to give up his weekend gatherings with friends in order to spend more time with her. Normally, Andres would have agreed without hesitation, but this time he paused. He remembered Clara's advice, and with a gentle but firm tone, he said, "No. My friends are important to me, and I don't want to give up that part of my life." To his surprise, rather than reacting with frustration, his partner looked at him with a new sense of admiration. In that moment, her respect for him deepened. She saw not a man desperate for approval, but someone grounded, someone who valued his own identity. That simple act of boundary setting brought them closer instead of pushing them apart. Why does this happen? Psychology gives us the answer. When you set clear boundaries, you communicate self-respect. Mature women who have seen enough in life to recognize insecure behavior can immediately tell when a man is saying yes out of fear rather than genuine agreement. Saying no, calmly and respectfully, shows that you are not afraid of losing someone by being true to yourself. It creates a dynamic where both people can be honest, where authenticity replaces pretense, and where respect naturally grows. My grandmother used to tell me something I have never forgotten. There is nothing more attractive than a man who knows what he wants and what he doesn't. She was right. Authenticity is magnetic, and nothing reveals authenticity more clearly than the ability to say no when it matters. This does not mean rejecting everything for the sake of pride or ego. It means recognizing your values, your time, and your priorities, and being willing to protect them. For men, this can feel risky. There's often a fear that saying no will lead to rejection. But in truth, the opposite is far more common. A well-placed no, delivered with calm confidence, tells a mature woman that you are strong, that you value yourself, and that you will bring balance to the relationship. And balance is exactly what creates lasting connection. If you constantly bend yourself out of shape to please, the relationship becomes one-sided, built not on mutual respect, but on silent resentment. By contrast, when both partners feel free to say no, what grows is a bond rooted in honesty. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation with someone you care about, pause for a moment before you answer. Ask yourself, is this something I genuinely want to agree to, or am I saying yes out of fear? If your heart tells you that no is the honest answer, then speak it with kindness but without apology. You may be surprised at how much stronger and more attractive that makes you. Authenticity, after all, is the foundation upon which true intimacy is built. A confident man knows who he is, what he values, and what he will or will not compromise. And it is precisely that kind of man who draws the respect and admiration of a mature woman. Once we understand the significance of saying no and the deep respect it creates, we can take the next step into one of the most underestimated yet powerful dynamics in attraction, the art of challenge. Many men overlook this principle, or worse, misunderstand it, believing it means playing games, withholding affection, or pretending to be someone they are not. In reality, challenge is not about manipulation. It is about maintaining your individuality, your rhythm, and your sense of self in a way that naturally creates intrigue. A mature woman with years of life experience behind her does not want someone who folds into her world without resistance or identity. She wants a partner who is both open to connection and strong enough to remain himself. Challenge, in this sense, is the gentle tension between accessibility and independence, between showing care and maintaining mystery, between sharing yourself and allowing her to discover you over time. Let me illustrate this with the story of Javier, a family friend who was known for his charm yet struggled with keeping relationships alive. He was thoughtful, attentive, and quick to show his interest. But there was a problem. Javier was far too predictable. The moment he liked someone, he would make himself completely available, replying instantly to every message, saying yes to every request, and placing himself at her disposal without question. For a time, the women he dated appreciated his enthusiasm. Yet before long, the spark faded. They began to feel less intrigued, less curious, less invested. Javier could not understand why. To him, his devotion was proof of seriousness. But what he didn't see was that by giving everything up front, he had left nothing for them to discover. One day, after yet another short-lived romance, Javier asked me for advice. I told him something simple but profound. You don't need to do everything right away. Attraction is not only about what you give, but also about what you allow her to uncover for herself. I explained that challenge is not about being unavailable or aloof. It's about letting the connection unfold at its own pace, allowing curiosity and desire to grow organically. It is about balance. If you show everything all at once, there is no journey, no anticipation, no sense of discovery. But if you allow your personality, your interests, and your attention to be revealed gradually, the relationship becomes richer and more exciting. This advice clicked with him, and he decided to approach his next relationship differently. Instead of rushing, he began to pace his time, showing genuine interest but also maintaining his own life and priorities. He responded to messages thoughtfully, but not instantly. He created moments of connection but left space for her to reach out too. And to his surprise, the dynamic completely shifted. One evening during a lighthearted date, his new partner, Maha, laughed and said to him, "Javier, you're a challenge, and I like that." For him, it was a revelation. By maintaining a sense of independence, he had actually deepened her interest. Psychology offers an explanation for this. There is a concept known as intermittent reinforcement, a principle drawn from behavioral psychology. It tells us that when a reward, in this case your time, attention, and affection, is given consistently and predictably, it begins to lose its impact. But when it is given intermittently with balance and authenticity, it becomes far more valued and desired. This doesn't mean playing games or manufacturing distance, but rather ensuring that your presence feels meaningful because it is not endless or taken for granted. Mature women, who have lived through relationships that may have grown stale, instinctively recognize the value of a partner who keeps things engaging. They don't seek endless attention. They seek meaningful connection. They don't want someone who is a constant shadow. They want someone who is a partner with his own life and his own passions, someone who adds value rather than simply orbiting around them. Challenge, when practiced authentically, brings out a beautiful balance. It invites her to invest in you just as you invest in her. Instead of a one-sided effort, it creates reciprocity, a mutual dance where both are intrigued, both are pursuing, both are curious. This mutuality keeps the spark alive. One of my close friends, Anna, once told me something that perfectly sums this up. What hooked me about my partner was that he never made it too easy. I felt like I had to win him over just as much as he was winning me. It wasn't about games. It was about feeling that we were equals, both invested, both challenged. That sense of equality, born out of mutual pursuit, is deeply attractive to mature women. It prevents complacency, ensuring that the relationship continues to evolve rather than stagnate. This brings us to the next principle: patience. In today's fast-paced world where instant gratification is the norm, patience is almost seen as a forgotten virtue. Yet in the realm of relationships, patience is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can have. It signals control, self-confidence, and an ability to see beyond the immediate. It is the opposite of desperation. A patient man does not rush intimacy, nor does he push for things before their time. Instead, he allows the relationship to unfold naturally, creating a sense of depth that cannot be manufactured through haste. Patience in this way is like a slow-burning flame. It builds warmth and intensity over time rather than consuming itself in a flash. I remember a story shared by a woman I deeply respect. She described one evening after a wonderful date where conversation flowed effortlessly and the chemistry was undeniable. At the end of the night, as he walked her to her door, she invited him in. Her intentions were clear and the opportunity was right there. But to her surprise, he smiled softly, looked into her eyes and said, "Not tonight. I've had an incredible evening, but let's leave it here for now." In that moment, something shifted inside her. She had expected eagerness, perhaps even urgency. But what she experienced instead was a man who had the self-control to wait, who was not ruled by impulse, and who valued the unfolding of connection over immediate gratification. That choice made a lasting impression on her. It was not rejection, it was restraint, and restraint spoke volumes. It told her that he was not desperate, that he valued her, and that he trusted the connection enough to let it build slowly. That patience ignited a deeper level of respect and desire than rushing ever could. The psychology behind this is clear. When something is delayed, its value increases. Anticipation heightens interest. Desire builds in the absence of immediate fulfillment. By exercising patience, you create space for that desire to grow naturally. Mature women who have experienced enough to know the difference between fleeting passion and lasting connection appreciate this deeply. They know that a man who is patient is a man who values quality over speed, depth over surface, and connection over conquest. Patience is not about denial, it is about timing, about allowing the beauty of anticipation to do its work. This leads naturally into another essential quality: mystery. Mystery, when handled with authenticity, is one of the most captivating traits a person can embody. It is not about hiding the truth or creating confusion, but about revealing yourself gradually, in layers, allowing discovery to be an ongoing process. A man who is mysterious does not overwhelm someone with his entire life story on the first meeting. Instead, he shares thoughtfully, leaving room for curiosity. He lets his personality, experiences, and talents unfold like chapters in a book, each one building on the last, drawing the other person in deeper and deeper. This gradual revelation keeps the relationship alive with intrigue, ensuring that there is always more to explore. I once knew a man who embodied this quality effortlessly. He wasn't secretive, but he didn't lay all his cards on the table immediately. When you spoke with him, he would reveal small details, a story from his past here, a unique perspective there. Just when you thought you understood him fully, another dimension of his character would emerge: an unexpected skill, a surprising hobby, a hidden depth. This wasn't contrived, it was simply the way he lived, comfortable with allowing others to discover him over time. For the women he dated, this created a sense of constant fascination. They never felt they had reached the end of the story, and that sense of unfolding discovery kept their interest alive. Mature women in particular appreciate this quality because it mirrors life itself, complex, layered, and full of surprises. Mystery is effective because it resists predictability. When someone feels they have already seen everything, the excitement fades. But when there are always new layers, new perspectives, new stories to uncover. The connection deepens continually. It's important to emphasize that mystery does not mean withholding essential truths or being dishonest. Rather, it means pacing what you share, allowing someone to earn deeper access to your world as trust grows. That sense of gradual unveiling makes the relationship feel special, as though each new layer is a gift given only when the time is right. Building on the principle of mystery, let us now explore one of the most joyful and underrated qualities in attraction: fun and lightness. Mature women, perhaps more than anyone, understand the weight of life's responsibilities, career demands, family obligations, personal challenges, and the many chapters of experience that shape them. With all of this, what often becomes most precious is not grand declarations or extravagant promises, but the gift of genuine joy. Fun is not about being the loudest in the room, telling endless jokes, or trying to impress through performance. It is about creating an atmosphere where both people can feel at ease, where laughter comes naturally, and where the heavy expectations of life momentarily fade. It is about reminding her and yourself that relationships are not just about navigating challenges or planning the future, but also about enjoying the present moment fully. When you can make her laugh after a stressful day, when you can turn an ordinary situation into a small adventure, you create a memory that lingers. Psychology tells us that moments of joy release dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, which strengthens emotional bonds. What this means is that when you create positive experiences with someone, they begin to associate those feelings with you. It is not the lavish gifts or carefully rehearsed lines that stay in her memory, but the genuine lighthearted moments you share. This could be something as simple as walking through the city at night and deciding to take an unplanned detour to watch the sunrise, or turning a rainy afternoon into an impromptu cooking experiment. These small acts of spontaneity leave a greater impression than any rigid plan ever could. Fun is also deeply tied to presence. A mature woman values a man who is fully present in the moment, someone who doesn't constantly check his phone or seem distracted, but instead gives her his full attention and energy. This kind of presence turns even the most ordinary situations into something meaningful. Think about it. A simple conversation over coffee can either feel like routine small talk or, when approached with curiosity and warmth, it can become a lively exchange filled with laughter and connection. The difference is not in the activity, but in the way you bring yourself to it. When you carry an energy of openness, humor, and lightness, you create space for her to relax, to lower her guard, and to feel truly at ease. One of my friends once shared how the turning point in her relationship came during a simple grocery trip. They were buying ingredients for dinner, and instead of treating it like a chore, her partner playfully challenged her to choose the most unusual vegetable they could find and invent a recipe on the spot. That moment of silliness not only broke the routine, but also reminded her of the joy of being with someone who could turn the ordinary into something special. She told me, "It wasn't about the food. It was about how he made me feel, like life could be fun even in the most mundane moments." That is the essence of fun, not performance, but perspective. When we combine authenticity, challenge, patience, mystery, and fun, we begin to see a clear pattern emerge. Attraction and connection are not about manipulation or strategy. They are about balance, presence, and the courage to be yourself while inviting someone else into your world. Mature women do not want perfection, nor do they expect flawless execution of every gesture. What they value most is sincerity. They are drawn to a man who respects himself, who brings out laughter, who is willing to say no when necessary, and who allows the relationship to unfold naturally. These qualities build not only attraction but also trust, the kind of trust that allows two people to navigate life together with both joy and resilience. As we close, Let me leave you with this thought. Relationships are not defined by grand milestones alone, but by the countless small moments in between. A smile offered at the right time, a patient pause instead of a rushed answer, a story saved for later, so she has something to look forward to. These are the details that transform ordinary interactions into extraordinary bonds. If you take only one thing away from this entire discussion, let it be this: authenticity, expressed through your words, actions, and presence, is the most powerful key you hold. When you live authentically, you naturally embody the very qualities we've explored: confidence, patience, mystery, fun, because they are no longer techniques but reflections of who you are. So I encourage you to practice these principles not as rigid rules, but as ways of deepening how you connect with others. The next time you find yourself with a woman whose presence inspires you, remember to be yourself fully. Respect your own values. Allow the spark of curiosity to stay alive. Bring patience when the moment calls for it. Infuse joy into the everyday. And above all, let your words and actions come from a place of honesty. If you do this, you won't just attract someone. You'll build a connection that stands the test of time. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this journey. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe and join our community so you never miss the conversations we have about growth, connection, and wisdom. If you made it this far, comment below with the phrase, "I love wisdom," and let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear your stories and perspectives. And finally, consider sharing this video with someone who may need these reminders today. Sometimes the smallest reflection can open the biggest door in someone's heart. Until next time, take care, stay authentic, and keep building the kind of connections that make life truly meaningful.